The Senate will please come to order. I would ask that all members please take their seats and that the guests please clear the aisles. At this time, prior to taking the roll, I would ask for a motion from Leader Ruggerio for approval of the journal from the 63rd legislative day of the 2015 proceedings.
Well, thank you, Madam President. I make that a motion.
Seconded by Leader Algier. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The journal is approved. At this time, those portions of the rules which had been previously suspended, I would seek a motion from the Leader Ruggerio for reinstatement.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we reinstate the rules that were adopted last year for last year and this year's session.
Seconded by Leader Algier. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The rules which were previously adopted for last year are reinstated in their entirety for this year for the entire session. At this time, I'd seek a motion to adjourn the final adjournment for the first legislative session.
I make that a motion, Madam President, to adjourn the final adjournment for the 2015 legislative session.
So moved, seconded by Leader Algier. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? At this time, I would ask that the clerk unlock the machine for the purpose of recording attendance. And I would call to order the first day of the 2016 proceedings. Have all senators indicated their attendance? Will the clerk please lock the machine? There are 35 members in attendance. There is a quorum. At this time, I would call upon Father Bernard A. Healy of Our Lady of Mercy Parish for the invocation, to be followed by Leader Ruggerio leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Father Healy.
Merciful and loving God and Father, high and mighty King of kings and Lord of lords, who does behold all the dwellers on earth and reign with power supreme and unrestrained over all kingdoms, empires, and governments, look down in mercy, we beseech you, upon the members of the Rhode Island State Senate, who turn to you for guidance and protection, desiring always to be dependent only upon you. To you they appeal for the righteousness of their cause. To you do they look now for that countenance and support which you alone can give. Take them, therefore, Heavenly Father, under your nurturing care. Give them wisdom in deliberations. Help them to secure justice for all, establish peace among peoples, and serve only the common good of our state and her citizens. O God of wisdom, direct the counsels of this honorable assembly. Enable them to settle things on the best and surest foundation, that order, harmony, and peace may be sought, and truth and justice, religion and piety prevail and flourish amongst the people. Preserve the health of their bodies and vigor of their minds. Shower down on them and all they represent such temporal blessings as you find expedient for them in this world, and crown them with everlasting glory in the world to come. All this we ask in your name, God of glory and majesty. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to welcome you, my colleagues in the Senate, and distinguished guests who have joined us today, back to the 2016 session of the Rhode Island Senate. Everyone has worked hard during the summer and fall, in your districts, on special commissions, and in many other ways. We return today eager to build upon the progress we have made and address the challenges our state continues to face. Working together in 2015, the leaders in this room created a school building authority to fix Rhode Island's crumbling schools, provided funding so that all communities can provide all-day kindergarten, enacted a statewide tourism initiative, enacted landmark Community Police Relationship Act, increased the minimum wage and the minimum base wage for tipped workers, enacted important environmental reforms, such as the cesspool phase-out, granted veterans preferences for subsidized housing because no one who served our nation in the armed forces should be left sleeping in the street. We enacted campaign finance reform and much, much more. Each member of this chamber worked diligently to improve our state, and we return today with the energy and focus to continue our work. And we face no shortage of challenges. I'm certain that all of us share the sentiment that our single greatest priority is the economy, and we will continue to work with the Governor, Speaker Mattiello, and our colleagues in the House to position Rhode Island for economic prosperity. We've taken many steps in recent years to improve the state's economic competitiveness, including addressing our tax structure. We reformed the income tax, reduced the corporate tax rate and the minimum corporate tax, increased the estate tax threshold, and eliminated the cliff provision. We removed the tax that non-manufacturing businesses had paid on heating fuels. Working together with Governor Raimondo and Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor last year, we also put in place a package of incentives that they are using now to assist existing businesses, as you read in today's paper, the expansion of Greystone and Lincoln, and to attract new companies to the state. Slowly, the economy has improved, but the urgency with which we must continue to address our economic challenges has not diminished. We must continue to build upon the progress we have made to put Rhode Islanders back to work and position Rhode Island for long-term economic prosperity. Rhode Island has so much going for it. We have such a strong quality of place. We have tremendous arts and culture and a culinary scene that is second to none. We can boast about our density of exceptional colleges and universities, as well as our great location in the Northeast Corridor. The beauty of our beaches is unsurpassed. These are important strengths on which to build. The noted economist Christopher Thornburg is interviewed in this month's edition of NCSL magazine, entitled State Legislators, which most of you are familiar. And he notes the importance of quality of life to economic development efforts. The Senate has focused already on some of the areas that he points to, but these areas demand our continued attention, including the quality of our education system and the quality of our infrastructure. If you make those proper investments, people will want to be there, he says. What's languishing are long-term investments, building new schools and repairing old roads, bridges, and various sorts of infrastructure. As a state, we have worked to position ourselves competitively from a tax standpoint, but we need to continue to make the long-term investments in our people that will drive our economic growth. We hear similar sentiments all the time from business leaders. The quality of our public schools is critical to broader economic success as a state. Students graduating from our many esteemed institutions of higher education want to live and work in a state with quality public schools. Entrepreneurs want to locate in states where they can find talented workforce to fill 21st century jobs and where they know their children will receive a quality education. One challenge which must be addressed this session is ensuring that the methodology by which we require our local communities to fund local schools is providing adequate resources to those in traditional and charter schools alike. Rhode Islanders deserve an education system that serves all of its students well. Similarly, investing in our roads and bridges is a critical component of our economic well-being and is essential for the safety and quality of life of all Rhode Islanders. We all agree that the condition of our infrastructure is unacceptable, and I look forward to the Senate working together with the Governor and the House to make the needed investments in our roads and our bridges. While the economy continues to recover, We must also recognize that many Rhode Islanders continue to face hardships. Social services are an investment in our people, too, and we must not be careful not to lose sight of the needs of the most vulnerable members of our society. We are often reminded of the famous words of Hubert Humphrey. It was once said that the moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. We must continue to work collaboratively to make our state as competitive as it can be, to grow our economy and put Rhode Islanders back to work. At the same time, we should work to ensure that vital services relied upon by Rhode Islanders are maintained to assist the vulnerable and to those who have fallen on hard times, help them to get back on their feet again. I am fortunate to serve alongside the talented and dedicated members of this Senate. But I would be remiss if in starting the session I didn't point out Leader Ruggiero is a steady and fair-minded leader, committed to getting our economy moving again, assisting his colleagues as we work to enact priorities on behalf of our constituents. Dennis Alger is thoughtful and insightful, and he works across the aisle with graceful and dignity, and I'm thankful for that. Mary Ellen Goodwin is an invaluable partner in our leadership team, and each and every one of the committee chairs bring expertise and dedication to their leadership duties. Each and every member of this Senate works with passion and compassion on behalf of your communities and the people of this state. It is an honor to serve with you all, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back this new year. I look forward to working together during another busy and productive legislative session. Thank you. Thank you. The next order of business is the introduction of guests. Are there any guests present? Chairman Pichardo.
Thank you, Madam President. To you and through you, first of all, Happy New Year, and thank you for your leadership and also for those words and the vision coming into 2016 and acknowledging all of our works, all together working as a Senate team. At the appropriate time, I have some guests.
Please proceed, Senator.
I would like to welcome to the Senate chamber, and I do have a resolution at the appropriate time.
Certainly. Would you prefer to do that first?
Yes, please.
Certainly. Senator Pichardo has a resolution to which he requests immediate consideration honoring Patricia Eugenia Lavanino Spinola for her outstanding diplomatic service to the Guatemalan community, especially during her stay in Rhode Island, and wishing her continued success in her new duties in San Francisco, California. Will the clerk please read?
Senate resolution honoring Patricia Eugenia Lavanino Spinola for her outstanding diplomatic service to the Guatemalan community, especially during her stay in Rhode Island, and wishing her continued success in her new duties in San Francisco, California. Whereas Patricia Eugenia Lavanino Spinola was born on July 5, 1957 in Guatemala City. She studied law at the University of Landivar, studied private and public administration, and took courses on immigration and emigration, human and drug trafficking issues, and on human rights subjects at the University of Cranston and Ottawa University in Canada, as well as Mexico, Taiwan, Guatemala, and Belize. In Mexico, she studied at the Diplomatic School of Matias Romero, attaining an associate's degree in diplomacy and international commerce. And whereas Mrs. Lavanino Spinola's exemplary Guatemalan diplomatic career began in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, where she was posted as third secretary of the Embassy of Guatemala. She was promoted to first secretary and consul while serving in the same embassy. In 1987, she was assigned as Guatemalan delegate to the General Assembly of the United Nations Organization and held a temporary position at the permanent mission before the UNO. And whereas in 1993, Mrs. Lavanino Spinola Spinola was transferred to serve as first secretary and consul at the Embassy of Guatemala in Mexico, where her primary duty was to provide protection to the Guatemalan transmigration. She was charged with providing protection and aid to Guatemalans in various humanitarian situations, such as Guatemalans who deceased in transit, amputees, and the search for lost and kidnapped women and children, and other assorted duties and responsibilities. And whereas in 1997, Ms. Lavagnino Spinola was transferred to the Republic of China, where she was later promoted to the position of Minister Counselor. In 2003, she was transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Guatemala as Deputy Director of Consular Affairs, and shortly thereafter to serve as the Director of Consular Affairs. In 2005, she was transferred to Belize to serve as first secretary and consul of the Embassy of Guatemala. Her main duties were to provide protection to Guatemalans and to assist the ambassador in his political duties. And whereas in 2010, Mrs. Lavagnino Spinola was posted as Consul General of Guatemala in Providence, Rhode Island. She worked tirelessly with the local authorities, leaders of civil society, community leaders, and the private sector to provide services, information, and assistance to the Guatemalan community residing throughout New England. During her stay in Rhode Island, she admired the ocean state's nature, its cultural and tourist attractions, but most of all, she loved the people of our great state. On December 15, 2015, she was transferred to San Francisco, California, EEUU, to serve as Consul General of Guatemala. Rhode Island's loss is California's gain. We will sorely miss her commitment to justice and equality for all and her tireless devotion to the people of Guatemala wherever they reside. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby honors Patricia Eugenia Lavagnino Spinola for her outstanding diplomatic service to the Guatemalan community, especially during her stay in Rhode Island, and wishes her continued success in her new duties in San Francisco, California. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be, and she is hereby authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mrs. Patricia Eugenia Lavagnino Spinola.
Senator Pichardo moves passage of the resolution, seconded by Senator Metz and Leader Ruggiero, Leader Algier, and Senator Jabbour. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. The resolution passes. At this time, we'll return to guests and announcements and would ask Chairman Pichardo.
Thank you, Madam President. To you and through you and to my colleagues, again, Happy New Year, and may this year be a very successful for all of you and for all of us in our own local issue and also state issue. Today, as you have heard, a resolution on a very distinguished woman who has served as a Consul General to Guatemala. Today, I've honored her leadership in Rhode Island, but also throughout New England. She represented the services and the government of Guatemala, but also represented Rhode Island. Immediately when she came to Rhode Island, she embraced not just only the Guatemalan people, but the Latino community, all Rhode Islanders, and through all the branches of government. That's the kind of person that she is. She's become a friend, and it is a terrible loss to Rhode Island. She was here temporarily as an ambassador, as a consul, but she will always have a piece of Rhode Island. I'm often shared with her and many that Rhode Island is small, the smallest state in the Union, but we have a big heart. And she lives here, and if I were to turn the mic to her, she will express to all of you how profound she loves Rhode Island. So with that said, Madam President, I have the distinguished honor to welcome to the Senate, but also say goodbye for now, or see you later, to the Honorable Patricia Eugenia Lavagnino Espinola, General Consul of Guatemala, here in Providence, Rhode Island, and state of New England. And accompanying her is a team that really made her work and her job really seem very simple, very easy. First, I would like to call Liliana Zuninga, Vice Consul. I have Susana Esquivel, Secretary. Sandra Rojas, Administrative Assistant. Marilyn Rosales, Administrative Assistant, Leiby Garcia, Administrative Assistant, and Ms. America Velasquez from the Central American Emergency Committee of Massachusetts that wanted to be here with us, but she couldn't. So that's her team. Oh, there she is. She surprised me. Welcome, bienvenidos, y gracias por su servicio. Es un honor. Welcome. Madam President, if I may, it is also, let me add that it is special for me to start the first day session in 2016 because I had the privilege and honor to travel to the Republic of Guatemala with our mayor, Jorge Lorza, the first Guatemalan descendant mayor in New England and the second one in the United States, and really saw the country and how the wonderful country that it is that we all should visit. The city of Guatemala City in Antigua, it is a phenomenal place, and through the council and all its people and the foreign minister, we invite everyone to visit Guatemala. With that said, I also have a couple of other guests, Madam President.
Please proceed, Senator.
Madam President, members of the Senate, I have also Tomas Avila, who is the president of the Rhode Island Latino Professional Association, joining us today. In the gallery, I have Ron Crossan, board member of the Providence Latin American Film Festival for the 24th year, been in existence. Analia Acolia, founder of the Argentinian Association and chair of the Providence Latin American Film Festival. Analia. And I have Sonia Saavedra, Community Outreach Coordinator for Service RI and Empower You, Rhode Island. Welcome. Thank you very much. May you have a wonderful, healthy 2016 and beyond. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any other introductions? If there are no other guests present, are there any announcements? As this is our opening day, there is no calendar. Is there any objection to transmitting adopted resolutions to the Honorable Secretary of State? Hearing none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. I would recognize Senator Goodwin at this time for purposes of adjournment.
Thank you. Madam President, is there a matter that we anticipate for immediate consideration tomorrow?
I believe that there is a matter. If you would like to identify it, it will be placed on tomorrow's calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, without objection. Madam President, members of the Senate, it's the Good Samaritan Act that was left behind at the end of last session.
And this is a new introduction, is that correct,
Correct,
Senator?
correct.
And Chairman McCaffrey has the legislation for all members who would like to co-sponsor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Is there any objection to the Good Samaritan bill, which was passed last session, am I correct, unanimously?
Yes, from this chamber, yes.
Being placed on tomorrow's calendar? There being none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. Madam Whip.
Thank you, Madam President. If there's no further business to come before the Senate today, I move the Senate adjourn.
Senator Goodwin moves the Senate adjourn, seconded by Senator Kettle. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Senate stands adjourned.